Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Monique, and I'm on a financial health journey to create an inheritance for the generations to come. And I want to do that through consistency and discipline. Today, we are here to do a budget with me for 1 week. So I am making a shift, and I did announce this on a video. I'm not sure if it's the last video or the next to last video, that I wanted to do things a little bit differently, shake them up a little bit so that I can get better control over the unplanned expenses that I have. So one of my ideas is that I'm going to now, instead of doing a budget with me bi-weekly as it matches with my paycheck, because I'm paid bi-weekly, I'm instead going to do one weekly so that I can be a little bit more focused on unplanned expenses and how things are clearing. Plus, if I do that, it's harder for me to tell if I have leftover money, which I think, in my mind, if I see I've budgeted for 2 weeks and I've got $100 left over, I got $100 to play with. But if I budget every week instead, knowing there are bills coming up, the next week I'm a little bit more cautious about trying to spend money because I could be impacting bills along the way. That's at least the way I think my mind will work with this process. So anyway, I'd like to thank everybody who liked or commented on any of my videos, and especially those that have chosen to subscribe to my channel. I started this as a way to hold myself accountable, but I do understand, recognize, and appreciate the community as a whole. We've got similar goals as far as finances are concerned, but we've got different ways of getting there. So if you're rocking with me on my journey, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you haven't made up your mind, sit with me for a spell. At the end of this video, if you like the content and like what we're doing over here, then please feel free to subscribe. So let's talk about what this looks like. So typically I have, like I mentioned before, I have budgeted bi-weekly, and then I just do a weekly check-in on my variable expenses every week to make sure that I'm staying on track with those. So I'm basically expanding that weekly check-in to be more of a budget with me and to actually include savings, any unplanned expenses, and also any bills that I have, fixed expenses, and debt. So that's what we're here to do. So today is Wednesday, the 20th. You see that up there? And I will load this on Thursday, the 21st, in anticipation of getting paid on Friday, the 22nd. Before I cover this piece very quickly, I'll just show that from a monthly calendar overview standpoint, Spotify, Bridgecrest, Kohl's, and Green Sky, those are all bills that needed to clear between the 15th and the 21st. Have already cleared, so that's great. So I am pretty close to being able to do a budget closeout for the paycheck that I received on the 8th. So we've taken care of that. I actually crossed out right here. It used to say Xerxes, my puppy or my doggy, getting groomed, and then I was going to allocate $50 for that in my next paycheck that I get on the 22nd. So that normally would have fallen in along with the numbers that I'm about to cover. But he decided to go back with his daddy instead of staying with his mom. So I crossed that out. He is no longer my responsibility, or that is no longer my responsibility. That now belongs to dad. So those are the updates for my monthly view. At some point next week, I'll start working on my April calendar. Like I said, I love this. I'm going to keep doing it because it is a way to keep myself accountable. And I think that is it. That's everything that I had to cover. Okay. All right. So let's get busy. I don't know where all of this extra came from. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. All right. There we go. Let's go in here and see what we've got. All right, so as far as my income sources are concerned, I expect on Friday to have $1175 deposited into my bills account, $500 deposited into my variable expense account. That roughly divides up, or I use that to cover a 2-week period. So 1 week I give myself $250, and then the second week I give myself $250. From my kids, the older kids, I expect about $150 to receive that between rent, which for my daughter, which I use to help cover some of her costs for her student loans, and then Micah for his cell phone. I am hoping to roll over $50 from last week's budget, because I actually started this weekly kind of thing, budgeting, last week. So my hope is that I've got $50 left over between the bills, and from the bills account, or from, no, because I'm using Kim and Micah that money for something else. So my expectation is that I'm going to have $50 to be able to roll over from that bills account. Let's just hope that's the way that works out. And then I'm going to I put a 0 here for savings from the last pay period. If you've been with me for a while, then you know that I take any money that I have left over from the $250 that I allocate myself for variable expenses. If I have anything left over, I take some of that money, I put it into rollover envelopes that I keep in my Moterm wallet, and I have that for every day, just in case I need to use it. And then I take part of that money, roll it over into the next paycheck period, or in this case, into the next weekly budget period, and use that to help with savings challenges. So the way that I'm doing things now, because I've split things up and I'm doing things every week instead of every 2 weeks, I should have 2 separate events of adding money to savings challenges and or sinking funds because of that. But because my variable expense week is not over yet, it runs from Friday to Thursday, and today is Wednesday, I'm going to go ahead and put a 0 here. I do think I'm going to have some money left over that I'm going to roll into this budget. I just don't know how much. So I'm going to go ahead and make it 0 as far as budgeting. And then when we get to the actual, hopefully I will have something to put in there. Oh, wait. So I got to add it up. All right. So that is 1175, 500, 150, and 50 equals 1875. So that's $1,875. Okay. Next is bills. So tithes, pet insurance, car insurance, you will never see amounts listed here for those, because those are automatically taken care of before that 1175 goes into my bills account. So those are already accounted for, just in case some people say, well, where's her car insurance, or she's got a dog, does she have any insurance? Yes, I do. But those are auto deductions, payroll deductions. And so that's already taken into effect. And then tithes is just between me and Jesus. So I don't share what that amount is. All right. So for bills, I've got OneDrive that's coming out for $2 and gas out for $102. Now you see mortgage here and you see the 22nd. My mortgage is actually due on the 1st, but it is not an auto draft the way Gas South and OneDrive is. So because of that, I actually have to manually go in and either go onto the mortgage site, lender site, and make the payment, or set up from my bank to go ahead and do a one-time payment. I have a struggle with getting an auto draft set up. I refinanced a couple of years ago with this same mortgage company or loan company that I had my original loan with. And now for some reason, when I tried to set up the auto draft, they're like, you still have one that's already there. Although that original loan has been closed off, it's associated with my name, with my address. It's a different account number, but it is associated with my name and address, and there seems to be an issue, and I just don't want to take any chances. And so that's why I am manually paying them. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pay. I'll pay them on the 22nd when I actually get paid on this coming Friday, instead of waiting until the 1st to take care of it. That's why I'm including it here. So although it doesn't fit into this paycheck or this weekly budget period of March 22nd through the 28th, because it's actually due on the 1st, I'm going to go ahead and pay it now. All right, so that's 2,102 and 715. That's $819. Okay. Next is I'm going to use the $150 that I anticipate getting from Kim and Micah here. I'm going to use that for savings and sinking funds. I'm going to use the $50 rollover for savings and sinking funds as well. And that should be about $200. And my hope is that I'm going to get a little bit more because I do want to give to both my high priority and low priority binders today. And I'd like to have a good bit of money for my savings challenges for my mini Mondays, but we shall see. So let me go ahead and type all of this in. 30 for my family binder, 80 for the mini challenges, 100 for my high priority sinking fund, and $20 for the low priority. That's a total of $230. So if I get $30 left over from variable expenses, then I'm right on track. If not, then I'm going to have to make some adjustments and borrow some, not borrow money, but use some of my bills account money to help account for that. All right, I have made a change to my expenses that I have my variable expenses. Now, up until now, I had four. I had gas, spend, just an overall spend category of $50. Gas was $40. Groceries would vary between $120 and $130. Home would vary between $30 and $40. And that's how I came up with the $250. So the four I had was gas, groceries, home, and spend. What I realized is that a lot of my unplanned expenses that I've been dealing with in the last 2 to 3 weeks is specifically around that name right there, my teenager. She's had a lot going on, a lot of things and events and buying tickets and doing all kinds of things. And so it's funny because I'm showing zero a lot of times for my spend category, and I'm rolling that money over into savings challenges and into sinking funds, but yet I have unplanned expenses where I've swiped or given her some money because I just wasn't thinking about it the same way. I didn't look at it as spend. I looked at it as her, like my daughter, but I wasn't looking at it right. So I think I'm saving money because I'm not spending the money that I had allocated for spend, but I'm really not saving any money because I am using my bills buffer, my bills account to offset those costs. And so let's do something a little different, Monique, so we can get some different results. So I'm going to leave gas at $40. I'm going to now keep standard or set at $120 for groceries. And I'm going to stay standard or set at $30 for home. So that gives me an extra $10 wiggle room. I added that with the spend of $50. That gives me a total of $60. And now I'm going to break it out this way. So I put $10 on Corinne's Cash App card. She can use that Cash App card at her school in the vending machines if she wants to get a snack or get a drink. I like doing it that way instead of her using a bank account card, because if she ever loses it, if she loses that Cash App card, who cares? We don't keep money on that card. I just allot her what I want her to have, so they can spend that, but they can't spend anything else, versus a bank card where there would be a bigger issue if she lost it. So I'm going to put $10 on that Cash App card for her for snacks, and then I'm going to have $10 cash in my wallet for her in the event that I pick her up and she wants to stop and get something to eat, or she needs to stop and get some, I don't know, some hair supplies or anything that she might need. So I'll have 10 there. I'm giving myself 20. So I'm basically giving her 20. I'm just dividing it up. I'm going to give myself 20, and I'm going to keep that as well for me. And then I have 20 for dining out. And we are starting to dine out once a week at least, because we've gone back to some church activities and practice sessions that we have. It's on Thursdays for both of us. And so I know I'm not going to feel like cooking. I pick her up from school, from the theater practice or chorus practice. Then we rush over to the church and do practice there for 2 hours. And then, by then I'm wiped out. And so I know on Thursdays I'm probably going to eat out. And so I'm going to go ahead and account for that. Now, this is probably going to mean I'm going to have less money available to roll over, because now I'm allocating it differently, and I'm giving Corinne money specifically and giving myself money specifically. So I'm going to have less to roll over, I know, but my hope is this is going to help her to start being more accountable to what she's spending. So when I give her that $10 on that Cash App card, I told her that's $2 a day. I'm not sending you any more money. Do not ask, don't tell me you tapped out on Wednesday and expect me to carry you Thursday and Friday. No, it's just $2 a day. She has money on her lunch account as well. And I've got another $10 here just in case. She's good. And so I'm not going to have as much money to roll over, but I'm hoping that this will be better for us in the long run. So if you add those together, we should still be at $250. So I did not change the amount that I'm allocating myself. So I'm not technically spending more money, but I'm probably not going to save as much money as I did before. Yeah, that's $250. All right, so let's put that in. I don't have any debt. You know what? Shoot. I do have debt. I should have, instead of putting this over here. No, I leave that. I leave mortgage because I don't consider it debt. For me, it's consumer debt that I talk about over here on this side. Meh. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to leave that over there on the side of bills instead of moving it over in debt. Okay. And so for us, debt is going to be 0. I have a spot here. No debt that I have to worry about for this week. I have a spot here for unplanned, and I'm hoping that that stays blank as well, and I don't have any unplanned expenses. So this is total income. Move over. Total income is $1,875. Bills is $819. Expenses $250. And this should have said $230. Total was $230 for savings. All right, and I noticed a discrepancy there on this form that I got from Ashley Digital Studios. It says income total instead of savings total, but who cares? Okay, I'm sorry, it just caught my attention for a minute. All right, get back on track, Monique. Let's go and see what we've got here. So that is $1,875 minus $819 minus $250 minus $230 equals $576 that I'm rolling over. Now, it is the first of the month. Once this week is done, going into next week is going to be the first of the month. And I already know that I've got bills that I'm going to have to cover. So I'm hoping that will discourage me from having a lot of unplanned expenses, but we'll see. You never know. All right, so that is what we're looking like. I should have $576 to roll over to the next week. I think that is it. All right, thanks everybody for your time. You guys have a good one.